Yo, what's good? It's Tony, and I am back for another video. And in this one, we're gonna answer the question, can you street in Tampa? Let's dive in. So for the past couple months, I've been doing some street photography here in Tampa. It comes with a catch. Let me explain. Tampa is not your London, it's not your New York, Spain, Tokyo, or any of these major cities, but that should not be a deterrent to capturing street photography. Because as long as there's a location and there are people, chances are you'll be able to produce an image. Tampa may not be as overly populated and condensed. You have to taper your expectations on the kind of imagery that you're going to be able to produce in any other location that's not super big. However, you have to be able to change your perspective, taper those expectations of the type of imagery that you're able to produce. The opportunity is there. You just have to go out there and take it. And that goes for any location. I've battled with that same idea and that same mindset of, oh, but I need to travel. I need to go to this other Instagram-worthy banger after banger location of a spot to capture some amazing photos and tell a story. While those places do, cater to that, it's because of the fact that people have gone out there and they've explored it and they've taken those photos and you're able to see that. So it makes it more intriguing, it makes it more interesting. Those photographers that go out to these locations, they go out there and they take advantage of such a condensed location to be able to produce images that, that give you the oohs and ahs, and you're sitting there and you're commenting and liking these photos and you're sharing and you want to take a photo just like that. The advantage of a location that has not been, discovered or explored like a Tampa is that you have that advantage to be that person to create those photos, share them with the world, that you can shoot in a location that's not as popular. So that's what I did. That's what I wanted to do. I don't have the luxury of traveling all the time to produce photos and capture images that I feel like are worthy of my portfolio or worthy to share on Instagram. They're not as popular. However, you can find compositions anywhere. For me, it's here in Tampa and the surrounding areas. And can I walk around and find compositions that I feel like are of interest to me, first and foremost? Because if it doesn't interest me and I'm just shooting for an algorithm, then what am I really doing it for? Am I really a photographer or am I a pleaser? You have to do it for yourself first, and that's something that I had to decide on and figure out. What kind of photographer is it that I want to be? Do I want to be a people pleaser, or do I want to be someone who shoots selfishly and has the opportunity to share it? And that's where I came to the conclusion of I need to find out for myself and go out there and spend time in a location where I live, finding interesting compositions and interesting places. And how do I leverage that to my advantage and be able to share that with everyone? Also, it brings awareness to a location that nobody's ever seen before or no one has thought to visit. Will anybody want to come shoot street photography in Tampa? Probably not. If you ever find yourself visiting Tampa, outside of the realm of wanting to shoot street photography and you just want to pass some time, it's there. I feel like I'm at the opportunity where I can display these locations where it's like, okay, if someone comes to visit, they can come check out these locations and they can come up with some photos of their own. So with this video, I want to break down some of my favorite locations of where I've shot recently and answer the question, can you street? Overall, the answer is yes. And I want to share some of these images that I was able to produce out of these locations and talk about which areas are my favorite, which areas I would lean more towards as I move forward with street photography, what's the best times and days to shoot around Tampa, because no day is the same. Tampa is one of those places that is very event driven. So you'll see a lot more people out when there is an event happening. You also have to take into consideration, what's going on, what kind of resources you have available to you, saying, to find out what is happening on certain days and times throughout the month, throughout the year, to figure out when is the best time to actually get out and shoot. So we're going to dive into that. So these are some of the images I was able to make in the Channelside area, particularly at the convention center where the Tampa Bay Lightning play, the surrounding area, the Water Street area. So I really like the location, especially the placement of the sun around the 5 to 7 p.m. time frame, because you get a lot of contrast. The sun is a little bit lower, and it really plays well with a lot of these locations, getting very contrasty, punchy images. The images I took here at the downtown Riverwalk area are some of my favorites because of the designs and the layers and just the overall lighting quality. I shot on different times of the day, so these are some of the images I was able to get. A lot of variety, different architecture and types of framing. I really liked the contrast, which is something that I'm noticing that I'm really into, is like very punchy contrast images. So I like to get very deep shadows, very bright highlights. The subject pops out. And last but not least, the historic Ybor City. I love the architecture, how it all comes together. I love the shadows, the deep contrast, reoccurring theme here with my images. And I just really enjoyed shooting here. So overall, I really enjoy walking around Tampa. It has a lot to offer. It's a beautiful city. The surrounding areas are just as beautiful, and you get a diverse environment because some places are a little more dated, a little more modern. Some places have taller buildings. You get different types of light. The time of day, it has different light quality, and you can take advantage of those situations to your benefit. It's all really about your perspective and what your expectations are of a city that's not as major as another, and the kind of images you want to create. Will it challenge you? 100%. It challenged me a lot. And I take that as a positive because it has helped me grow, over the time that I've been doing it. And I still have so much to learn and so much to experience when it comes to this type of photography, because I've mostly been shooting portraits for the better part of the time that I've been a photographer. So that goes to say that I have so much more room to grow and learn about compositions and lighting and things like that. It's something that you can always grow into and continuously evolve, and your taste changes and the way that you view the world changes, and maybe even introspectively you start to change and you start to view yourself differently, and the things that you take joy in, and the way you edit, and the way you see the world, and the way you see your world and how you interact with the world. A lot that goes on in this journey of photography, whether you're doing portraits, whether you're doing travel, street photography, macro, etc., you grow with it and you don't stop growing with it. I feel like with street photography as something that I've played around with whenever I'm traveling, or a day-to-day thing whenever I get a chance to walk out and explore a new area, I'll try my hand at street photography. But now, as I am moving forward with it even more and taking it more seriously, I would say that it's a beautiful genre. I really enjoy it. I love the fact that I get to walk around and explore and discover and see the world in a different way and see people in a different way. Taking on that observational role and just noticing the daily interactions and the things that I find interesting. I truly appreciate what it's done for me. I love the fact that, it makes it easy for me to get my steps in and get, my cardio, with the walking around endlessly, because at minimum, I'm clocking somewhere between 10 to 15,000 steps easily with almost minimal effort, because I'm just walking around and I'm just noticing things and observing. By the time you know it, you've had a full-on workout, and yeah, it's very rewarding. Will I say that I've brought home images that I'm just like stupid excited over. Not all the time, that's not the case, and that's something that I've learned, both from experience and from what I've seen on YouTube from other photographers, is that, you don't always come home with a banger of a shot. You come home with a lesson. You're able to review the images that you've taken. What did you like about it? What didn't you like? What could you have done better? It's homework. You're going out there and you're collecting data points. And if you come out with a good photo, that's perfect. That's great. But if not, it's still a good time, and you still come home with something, whether it's a good photo or something to improve on. You've gained more from getting out there than staying home and digesting an insurmountable levels of YouTube videos of other photographers doing the thing that you want to do. And then on the plus side, being in a location that challenges you to find compositions and find interesting people and just walk around, is that when you get the opportunity to go to a larger city that's more known for street photography, you go in there ready. The compositions start to fall on your lap a whole lot easier. You start to notice things a lot faster because you've trained your eye to a very high degree, because those things are so hard to come by in your location. For me, for example, here in Tampa, when I get to go to other countries or another city, I notice things a lot faster. I'm sharper, I'm quicker. I've practiced over and over and over in a location that requires a lot more observation to notice these things. Whereas when you go to somewhere like New York, and you literally can do a 360-degree turn, and you're gonna find something of interest, and you can just easily just pick up your camera, point it, shoot it, and that's it. You got the shot. Easy day. Or if you're fishing, you can easily find locations because you have Instagram to tell you, these are notable locations to go find compositions. So it makes it so much better for you on the long end, because you have so much practice finding these almost difficult to find locations to create compositions of interest. For me in Tampa, with that being said, is Tampa or anywhere really worth your time doing street photography? This is my way of telling you, yes, it is. You can street in Tampa. You can street where you live. So get out there and let's go shoot some shit.